Hey guys, welcome back. So we're jumping back into Avengers Forever, which for us has been like the side story that never ends. But after this video, we're gonna jump into Avengers Assemble Alpha, which is then gonna bounce back and forth between this series and Avengers Volume 8, and take us into Avengers Assemble Omega, which will be the Omega of our coverage. But as we go into this one, we find out that the war could have ended before it even started. And I want to hear what you guys think in the comments after seeing this, because I definitely got a few of my thoughts sprinkled in at the end. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week. And don't forget to hit that bell up top so we can squad up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so at this point, with us jumping back in and now having the multiversal Avengers assembled, we begin here with Captain Fury, who's single-handedly attacking the helicarrier Zeta, which belongs to the Goblin Corps. And initially, they don't bring out too much to stop him, because they figure he's just one guy, and this will be over pretty quick. But when Captain Fury is suddenly accompanied by Deathlock and Earth 818 Tony Stark, the Goblin Corps notices that there's more happening here than what they thought. And though it seems like this is just a random world that they've come to that's been taken over by the Masters of Evil, through the course of this we also discover that Robbie Reyes, the All-Rider, came here because the slain prehistoric Ghost Riders told him to. But then next, when the All-Rider lands on the front of their helicarrier, turning it into his latest hell ride, suddenly the Goblin Corps realizes that they've lost this fight before they even knew that it started. But while they're here, Deathlock tells the Tony Stark of Earth 818 that he just got a message from the Avengers Tower at Infinity's End, telling him that time is up, the multiversal recruiting is over, and it's time to bring this army home. And with Tony hearing this, he's kind of excited because he's like, yeah, finally I get to meet this mysterious Avenger Prime. But for the Deathlock, he's still a bit worried, because even still, with all the multiversal Avenger recruiting that he's done, he still doesn't believe that they have enough to take on the Masters of Evil and their army. But Tony tells him, look at what Robbie Reyes just did with him turning that helicarrier into the Hellcarrier, which definitely doesn't sound as impressive as it looked. But for Tony, the way that he sees it, he'll take one Robbie Reyes over 100 Captain Americas or Thors any day. But for Robbie, who's now the All-Rider, he's kind of in his own world, standing off to the side by the car, because sometimes when you carry the whole team, you just don't want to be bothered, because you may want a little space or privacy. And speaking of privacy, I'm going to tell you about this video sponsor, Atlas VPN, who's currently running the best deal for online affordable protection to keep your information safe while you use the internet for just $1.83 a month. And if you sign up now and take advantage of the exclusive summer deal, you get an extra 3 months for free. And if by any chance you're not satisfied with the service, there's also a 30-day money-back guarantee, which takes away the risk of just trying it out. Because if you're not feeling it within 30 days, you just get your money back. And I've been using Atlas VPN for the past few weeks on my phone, my iPad, and my desktop, and it's given me peace of mind because I'm online nearly all the time. And to go a step further beyond the protection, you can also use Atlas VPN to view content that's locked behind another region, either if you're traveling or if you're just limited to content in your area. Atlas VPN allows you to watch it all wherever there's internet. You can keep your Google searches private and for your eyes only, get organic search results without being tracked, because again, your privacy is important. And if you have multiple devices, you can use Atlas VPN on all of them, using one subscription on an unlimited number of devices. So don't miss out on the summer deal and grab Atlas VPN Premium for $1.83 per month with an extra 3 months for free. So use my link in the description or the top pinned comment and sign up for $1.83 a month while this summer deal lasts. And thanks to Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video. But at this time, with Robbie taking a moment, he hears voices calling out to him from his trunk, and when he goes to take a look, he finds that it's other Ghost Riders who have fallen at the hands of the Masters of Evil, who are calling out to the All-Rider, saying, "Why have you forsaken us? Another spirit of vengeance has fallen. All-Rider, avenge us." And as crazy as it seems, it makes sense that these other riders are doing this, because the Hell Charger already has a portal to Hell in the trunk, so at some point, all of these riders was in Hell, and they was like, you know what, let's take this portal that leads to the All-Rider's trunk, and send a message, because we need vengeance and we need it now, so the All-Riders gotta do something. And though this is still Robbie Reyes, currently he's found himself consumed by the All-Rider persona. So Tony and the Deathlock approach him, with this being one of the things that the Deathlock was concerned about. So Tony tells him, like, look man, we're about to head back to Avengers Tower, and when we get there, Avengers Prime can help you out, so he doesn't have to lose himself in this whole process. But then Robbie's just like, no, I'm not going to Avengers Tower. So he chains Tony and Deathlock to the ground so that he can go after the Masters of Evil by himself. Because the All-Rider doesn't want to wait any longer. He wants to serve vengeance and penance now. So after this, we then head over to the Masters of Evil. just after they destroyed another group of Avengers 1 million BC. And with seeing the Masters of Evil here, I gotta say, seeing the Black Skull kinda threw me off, because back in issue 4 we saw he was defeated and given a sentence of forever penance. So with seeing him again now, there's really no explanation given, and I assume the logic here is he was sentenced in the present day, and he still has his symbiote back in 1 million BC. So it's one of those things I saw and I was like, alright, just roll with it, I guess. But while they're here, the All Rider shows up, and he starts controlling the Black Skull's symbiote, just like we saw Robbie do in Avengers Forever issue 3. But for the Black Skull, when Robbie does this now, it's not even familiar to him, and it completely catches the Masters of Evil off guard, because the All Rider then uses the symbiote to take down King Killmonger, almost as if he's picking them off one by one before revealing himself to them. But then suddenly, with a very disrespectful entrance, the All Rider comes in, running over the Berserker Wolverine while hitting Kid Thanos and chaining up the Dark Phoenix all in one shot. But at first, the Masters of Evil were seeing this and thinking, who would be dumb enough to come after them? But as Robbie's revealed who he is, with him attacking every single one of them except the Doom above all, the Dark Phoenix immediately knows that this is no common rider, and whoever they're facing here is more powerful than any rider they've contested before, which has the Doom above all like, man, one rider did all that? But as the All Rider approaches the Doom above all and Ghost Goblin, the Ghost Goblin recognizes him, and he remembers Robbie taking down an army of Black Skulls on Earth 818, but nonetheless he still goes after the All Rider, because for this Norman Osborn, the Ghost Goblin, he's aware that killing a Ghost Rider is difficult, nearly impossible, but he's already killed 417, so he's just kind of like, hey, what's one more? And as Norman goes after Robbie, the All Rider, Norman Osborn goes on to say how he's the richest man in the multiverse. He's got elder gods on payroll, which is how he became the Ghost Goblin. But to me, that's another thing where I'm just like, I don't know, buddy, because if any of you guys are familiar with the origin of the Spirit of Vengeance, which I did a video on like 4 years ago, but in that origin, which was also written by Jason Aaron, he gave us a story called Heaven's on Fire, which showed us when the Spirit of Vengeance was created prior to Zarathos, who is the guy that Mephisto's stealing it from. But rather than make a whole debate right here, I put a link down in the description so you guys can check that video out and come back and tell me in the comments what you think. But from what it seems with the Ghost Goblin going against the All Rider, this power that he bribed to get from an Elder God, it's just not enough, which I was glad to see because that checks out. And last but not least, when the Doom above all sees that the All Rider has single-handedly taken down his team, to him, he sees this as finally getting a challenge, because prior to this, he's bodied gods, star brands, and phoenixes with little to no effort, and he's grown weary of his crusade, feeling like it's been on easy mode. But the All Rider quickly tells Doom that he's not a challenge. He's not that. But instead, he's all the pain that Doom has inflicted. He's every one of Doom's sins given flesh and fist. He's the rage of all the worlds that Doom's ravaged. The All Rider is the vengeance of infinity, and the All Rider tells him, I am penance, your penance, Doom, as he then goes on to just walk through everything that the Doom above all throws at him, which is pretty nuts, with us knowing that the Doom above all is an amalgamation of sorcery from across the multiverse. But as this is happening, what we're also told is that this is killing Robbie, because for him to end the Doom above all, the full force of the All Rider must be unleashed, which will end the reign of the Masters of Evil, which will then effectively stop Mephisto's plans. But if Robbie does this, there's no going back. But this is a choice that Robbie is willing to make, and not for the reason that some would think, which is to save trillions. But for Robbie, he makes the decision to sacrifice himself in a heartbeat, because he knows that this will save his little brother Gabe. But before Robbie's able to fully unleash the All Rider, the Deathlock intervenes because he doesn't believe in sacrificing Robbie Reyes to save the multiverse. And honestly, I can't tell if it's admirable or asinine. Because if one dude wants to sacrifice himself to save the multiverse, and that person has made that decision, what right does Deathlock have to take it from him? Because soldiers have given their lives for a fraction of that many people. And with saying that, I can already hear MCU Tony Stark. But imagine if somebody stopped him from saving the universe. And also, not to get too far ahead of where we're at right now, but the Deathlock is doing this because in spite of his overall doubts, he believes that Robbie at least has a better chance of going back home to his little brother if he teams up with the Multiversal Avengers. But again, for me, if somebody wants to end it and they're capable of ending it, don't stop them in the process of ending it. Because not only are you giving the villains another chance to win, but also when the war gets started and other heroes die, then it's kind of like, what was the whole point? But either way, I digress. But at this point, with Robbie saved, Tony Stark Ant-Man is still in the process of shrinking the Doom Above All into oblivion, but before he can finish, the Dark Phoenix comes back, which now switches the focus to getting Robbie out of there, cause Robbie's still weakened and these other guys aren't going toe to toe with the Dark Phoenix, which really just goes back to what I was saying. They should have just let the man do his thing. But then Deathlock tells Tony to get Robbie out of there, as he single-handedly goes after the Masters of Evil himself as a bit of a distraction for them to get away, but at the same time it's one of those slow motion moments with a Deathlock knowing that he's about to die, which, I mean, it worked well enough for Tony and Robbie to get away, but even still, as far as the other people who are going to die, I put that on Deathlock. Cause looking back, I still don't think it was the best decision, but it did make the series longer, cause going forward, the Masters of Evil are still intact, and for the Doom Above All, who currently isn't above much, the Stark particles will eventually wear off, and he'll soon be a full-grown menace once again. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all your support. And for anyone who's new here, who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/Dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.